Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the international fans podcast for Sunderland AFC. My name is Thirkell. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and today I'm joined by Ian Mcnee, who is in Germany. He's in Wuppertal. He's from the German Black Cats. Guten Abend, Ian.
Hi, Lee. How are you doing, mate?
Apart from a dose of antibiotics for my chest infection, I'm not too bad, mate. Yeah,
I just keep taking the tablets tomorrow.
I'll try. Yeah, no beer though. And we've also got Dermot Ledwith. He's 4 hours drive down the road from me in Bilbao. He's in Madrid. Dermot, how are you, mate?
Not too badly. Yeah. Happy with that win last night, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure.
Aye.
But we're right in it now, aren't we? Right in that 4-horse race. So great.
Well, I mean, we're definitely nailed on for the playoffs, aren't we? Because we're 13 points, I think, is it now? The gap between us and seventh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like the narrative's changed, hasn't it? Like it wasn't just like getting a playoff place. Now it's actually we're going to go for the automatics, aren't we?
We've stuck with the top two, the top three, and it's definitely a 4-horse race, isn't it? So good stuff. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Right. Well, we as we said then, we're going to review the derby match last night. We won 1-0. It was a bit scrappy. It was a bit nervy at times, but at the end of the day, it's 3 points. Ian, were you a bit worried about how we played in that match? That we didn't make it easier than we could have?
Well, I mean, with Sunderland, we don't make things easy, you know. We always do it the hard way. I thought the first 15 minutes was exactly how we played just about since October. We seem to sit back and wait and see what the other team's going to do before we start reacting to it. Once we'd sussed them out, we started to play. Why on earth we don't just come out and go for it from the first minute? I don't know. I would have thought that the scouts have done their homework and have told the team how to play. And obviously, Rabri is sending the team out with a certain amount of tactics in their head. Although there's an awful lot of freestyle football out there from us, if you like, because the lads still what they want in principle. But I thought we mastered the first half after the first 15 minutes. We mastered the first half wonderfully. Should have scored a lot more goals than one. The second half, we've seen this so often. We started retreating into our own half and invited them on. And the game, I mean, they could have scored a couple of goals last night. You know, if it wasn't, Pato played very well. The biggest miss, obviously, was that header from the lad that came on. I think it was about the fourth or the fifth substitute that came on.
Mm-hmm.
He put it just past the far post. He should have. It was in the middle of the goal. He should have just headed it straight ahead, and it would have been a goal.
Yeah.
Would have gone to place.
No, but do you know, like my school of thought is exactly the same as yours, mate. I think like it's been a long time since we actually started like fast out the traps. Do you not think, Dermot, that we're quite conservative in our approach, like in the last quarter of the season that's gone by?
I think he's a very good coach, and he's managing, the different. I think good coaches nowadays manage different areas of the game, and I know we all want to see them come out the traps and get into them, and get on the front foot, as people say in commentary and that. But I don't understand what that means, sometimes, because you can't just be, running at them for 90 minutes, all out attack. It's managing the game. So I know what you both mean, but I also think that we've got a very good coach who knows what he's doing, and he's managing the games more. And you know what I thought last night? What's really important is we've got a bit more of a squad now. We've got a better bench. We've got players coming back. He put 4 substitutes on last night, and he did try and kill the game. Derby were coming at us in the second half, but he, the 4 subs helped to kill the game off a little bit. Patterson did have to make a couple of saves. He had to make an important one. Yeah, come out and punch one right at the end. So it was a bit nervy, but I think I think he's a good coach. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and I think we're all a bit naive as football fans if we think, teams can go out and just, attack them for 90 minutes. It doesn't work like that. So,
No,
I
well,
know what you mean. I know what you mean. Conservative, but
yeah.
he's a very intelligent coach. So I
No,
hope
absolutely.
that's
I
the
mean,
thing.
if not, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in now. But my I don't know, my thinking is like basically they hadn't won in 4 games. They'd lost the last four, and they had a back three. Like the Paul Warren, the manager, came on after the match and he said our back three tonight was like two left backs and a centre midfield. And we went with like Mayenda and Isidore up front, and I was thinking like get at them. You know what I mean? It's a chance to kind of like get a few more goals in the goals for tally because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it could come down to that at the end of the season. I mean, Leeds are showing that they can score goals. Sheffield United are scoring goals. Burnley can keep goals out, but they can't score goals, which that might cost them. So I just thought it was a bit disappointing from us that we didn't really get at them more, considering that they'd lost the last four and they had like a makeshift defence. But Ian, he started off then. He dropped Roberts and Mayenda came in, but he didn't go on the right. He went up front with Isidore and he played Rig on the right hand side and he played Lefay on the left hand side. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. Are you?
No, well, well, first of all, to go back to what Dermot said, I've got absolutely no problem whatsoever with LeBrie. He's a hell of a coach. I've got a few small criticisms of him, which we'll come to later. But to go back to your asking your question about the tactics, Rick has just come back from an injury. He played for 70, 80 minutes last Friday, and he played the same again this week. First half, it was great last night. The second half, he was trying to do too much. He was getting past people, but then he was trying to beat somebody, beat the next one instead of laying the ball off or something like that. I personally would have substituted him and Enzo about 10 minutes before they actually went off because Derby was starting to get back into the game. We were struggling. Rig couldn't hold on to the ball. Lefay was lost out there on the left because he wasn't getting the ball. Playing Mayenda and Wilson down the middle, he didn't really do that. Mayenda was more over to the right in the first half, I thought. I mean, where he got the ball. Look at where he was. He'd come in from the right to collect that ball to score the goal. It's difficult. I mean, the problem is we are now overloaded in midfield. Now that Lefay's there, and I thought Job was magnificent in the first half last night. He got his yellow card. The yellow card held him back a bit. You could see sometimes he was scared to go into a tackle. Yes, he got another silly yellow. But he was so bloody good yesterday. I know Dan Neil got man of the match, and Dan Neil played very well as well. But I thought Job was excellent. I mean, he's only 19 for Christ's sake. He's a great player. Great player.
No, go on, Dermot.
I was just going to say, I agree. Job was my man of the match. He was brilliant. His feet were, his quick feet are brilliant. He's done it the last couple of games where he's beat two players at the centre pitch. He got pulled back and fouled last night as he kind of did a little shimmy and a dummy and came away with the ball. Yeah, and what you were saying, Ian, about Chris, about Rig, in the build-up of the goal, I was like, he gave the ball away. He gave a terrible loose pass in the centre of the pitch. He just flicked it up in the air, and he realised, and he chased it down, and he won the ball, and he gave it to Job, I think, who drove forward and got the ball to Mayenda, and that was the goal. You know, we've got to be very positive. We've got some very talented young players there. Just them three. Just in Mayenda, Job, and Rig.
I mean, there's no doubt whatsoever about that. But we've now got enough good, talented players to change them round. You don't have to play Chris Rig until he's on his last legs. give him a
Yeah.
rest and take him off after 60 minutes instead of 75.
I think he's rotating it a bit, isn't he? Because he's, he started with Roberts on the bench yesterday, and you could argue that Roberts could start as well. So he brought Mayenda in, so it's good. It's there's more bodies there.
Yeah.
And I was going back to before what I said at the beginning, which I think is really important. Just more players to come off the bench now, and when they are coming back,
what's he going to do when Watson and Mundle are fit?
Exactly, the players when they come back. So embarrassment of talent in midfield, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, and another thing, right, is that I think we've also got like the depth now in the squad, but I think on the pitch we've also got players with different options. I mean, as soon as Mundle and Watson come back on that left wing, you've got the wing options to create chances. And as you mentioned, like the goal yesterday, Job driving forward. I think that sometimes he doesn't do that enough. I think like if he gets the ball and he drives forward, he can always play that pass. But sometimes him and Neil, when they get the ball, the first instinct is to get it wide. And I'd like to see them kind of like drive forward a lot more and try and like pick out Isidore or Mayenda, who between them two have also got like a good thing going on in terms of a relationship and like they know how each other's games. I mean, we saw Mayenda playing the ball for the penalty, no, at Burnley. So I think apart from the depth of players, we've also got like now different styles of play on the pitch. It's just that I think we need to kind of utilize them more rather than like be kind of like passing it around and going from left to right. I think I don't know, a bit more bravery. I think we were brave at the start of the season with our attack and play, and I think we've become a little bit safer. I don't know if it's because like we're getting dizzy heights because of the position we're in, and we're trying not to lose the matches or drop points. But I mean, I think we have the players there to hurt teams. And then, Ian, I don't know if you agree with this, but like people are saying that someone's going to get a good hiding from us sooner or later. I'm not seeing that with the way we're playing at the minute, but I think we are capable of doing it if we play to our strengths.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying all this time, we are capable of tearing people apart. We've got nobody to be scared of in this division, in this league. There's nobody better than us. Leeds maybe for 20 minutes at the Stadium of Light, but that was it. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when we play them down at Elland Road, because they're going to come at us. I think we've got a pretty good chance of getting at them. Yet last night we had another gear, if not two gears, that we could have stepped up. Possibly it's because of the amount of games that haven't to play, the being saving the stamina or the holding back a bit. Gone are the days where we hammered Sheffield Wednesday 4-0. That's the Sunderland I want to see. And I would love to see it come out and hammer somebody again, because we are capable of doing it. But the way that we're playing, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I'm happy with 1-0 or 2-1 as long as we get the 3 points.
Is that intentional, Ian, do you think? Is that like Labry's plan? Like not to kind of like...
I don't think you can send a team out and say, lads, I just want you to win 1-0 or 2-1. But I think it's in the back of the mind, especially last night, and probably more so. It's going to be on Saturday against Plymouth. They're going to be thinking, well, these aren't very good. We don't have to tower our asses out to beat these. And one day we're going to fall on our face if we continue to do that. I would like to put the game to bed and then start to manage the game. Like Dermot was saying earlier on, managing the game, wonderful, but you don't manage the game on the edge of your box. You manage the game in midfield. And we dropped far too way back last night.
Yeah.
We invited them on, and you don't do that. That's not managing the game, inviting them on.
Yeah, Dermot, you were nodding your head there in agreement. So like, do you think that Labrie is going out with that intention that we're not going to blow teams away anymore, or like he wants to control the game?
Yeah, I think he wants to control the game, and I think that helps you with your consistency, because as Ian said, nobody's been better than us. Nobody's been better than us all season, apart from Leeds, probably at home. We're better than Sheffield United twice. I think we're better than Burnley twice already as well. You know, we lost to Sheffield United. We were the better team on that Friday night away. I think it's the coach's effect. I think he's got us very consistent. We only lost 4 games. We're very difficult to beat. We're very difficult to break down. And I think that's what you get from not going out all guns blazing. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I think that's how he's got us played, and it's a good thing. I know we'd be frustrated because we are. We did struggle last night and only won by 1 goal.
Mm.
But yeah, I think we will. We'll inevitably, with the talent we've got now, we will blow a team away and get 3 or 4 past them. But I might be wrong. It might come down to goal difference, and we might be short on that. So
Yeah.
it's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance, I think.
Yeah, no, and I was just looking there. Leeds have scored, so they're winning 1-0 against Norwich.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful.
yeah, but Burnley, Plymouth kick off at 9. Um, but yeah, you mentioned there, like we have only lost 4 games this season, which like it just shows that there is like a solid foundation there from the back, from the keeper going forward. And I think going forward, we have changed a little bit. I mean, I go back to the game that Ian mentioned before, like the Chef Wed game, where at first, I mean, I was at that game and we just blew them away first half. It was just magnificent. It was just attack after attack after attack. And in the second half, we managed it better. We got an early goal and we just kind of like took the foot off the gas because the game was won. Then the other games we've done that was maybe like the Oxford game at home and the Derby game at home, where we beat them 2-0 and it was 2-0 at half time. Fast start, got the goals, and then we managed the game. But then on the other hand, when we did that against Coventry, we know what happened, didn't we? I mean, brilliant and probably one of the best first halves we've ever had in a while. I mean,
I
that
was
goal
just going to mention that. Yeah.
I mean, that goal from Circum was a belter, and then all of a sudden you're thinking like 2-0 half time. Wow, well. And then second half we give it away. So like I think there's like two sides of the coin, isn't it, about game management and how to do it, but I'm just a bit not concerned but wary that I'm not getting too excited because I think we can play much better going forward, and I think we need to if we're going to push for those top 2 places. I don't know if you agree with that, Dermot. Like,
Well, I think we all want to see it, and we all want to see. I was worried last night till the 96th minute because it was 1-0, and we haven't even mentioned the dodgy goal that was disallowed. But I'll just mention one thing more quickly on this. I watched a lot of Atletico Madrid over the years. I just live up the road from the ground. Simeone has been there for years. He's a great coach. I think it's definitely been talked about and written about in coaching manuals and that. They're playing the game now in like different groups of minutes. Like, he's saying go for them from the 15th minute to the 25th minute, have 10 minutes rest, go back for them just before half time. And I think, Reggie Lebree's just such a clever coach. I think there's a bit of that in him.
Yeah.
I think I think he's got us playing in certain times of the match in one way and then going for it in other times. I might be wrong, like I think it's a very clever approach, I think, and I think that's what gives us the consistency.
yeah,
Well, I would agree with that, Dermot, because I mean, as I mentioned earlier on, you can see when we start the game, we are very conservative, to take Leeds' description on. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, we're sussing the opposition out. We're trying to see what they're going to do, where they're dangerous. For example, going back to Friday night at Burnley, their right winger was tearing a new one out of Dennis Cirkin for the first 20 minutes. We're just knocking long balls over the top of Cirkin, and he didn't have a clue where the hell he was. But Sunderland learned from that, and they closed it down. And by the second half, there was very little threat coming in from their wings, from Burnley's wings. But going back to last night, I said, first 15, 20 minutes, have a look at them, see what we can do. I would love to come out gung-ho, put 3 goals in the first 10 minutes and just sit back and manage the game. Well, that's not Sunderland. We don't do things easy.
no, not at all. I mean, in the
Never.
first half, I mean, what the stats from last night? We had 3 shots on target, and I think most of them came in the first half, didn't he? Really? There was like Cirkin had a chance, didn't he, when he got played in by Lefay and he blasted over the bar. He probably should have done better with that. Isidore had a long range shot which the keeper saved, and
Yeah,
then if we finally looks like
free
we might have a free kick taker as well,
yeah.
because Lefay took a canny free kick, didn't he, from like what 25, 30 yards out.
Right.
He's got a
So
shot on him, hasn't he? He's got a good shot on him.
He has got a
Yeah,
good shot. He showed that on Friday as well when he hit the stanchion, I think, was it, or the post on the outside.
Yeah.
Um, but so yeah, but that was about it for the first half. And the second half, like Derby just came on to us, didn't he? They thought like it's 1-0, it's half time, we're still in the game, let's have a go, and they certainly did. But then, Ian, I'll give you first dibs on this because I know you want to crucify the ref.
of course I am.
Um, so basically, the disallowed goal. Then, I mean, I was watching like the Danny Collins stream, the SAFC live
Me
stream,
too. Yeah.
and they were just baffled because they were in the studio, they didn't know what happened, and they assumed
Yeah.
it was a goal. SAFC live had like 2-0. I couldn't really see any offside. I didn't see the handball at first. It hit off Lefebvre's hand. I assumed that basically he might have given a foul because the guy ran into the back of Isidon and fell over. And I thought he might have given them for that, but apparently he's given it for the offside because he was interfering with play.
I've got to say that is ridiculous. If that is the reason he's given, uh, he shouldn't be refereeing a game. I mean, he shouldn't be refereeing a game at all after last night's display. But I mean, I followed a bit of social media today for a change, and there's three variations come out. The first one's the offside. Neither of them were offside. There's a freeze frame of the ball from Bellingham that came over the top, and they're both running towards the goal, and they're both onside. The Derby player is playing them onside. So that you can throw that one out the window. There was the other one where the bloke ran into the back of Isidore. Okay, you could argue that Isidore stopped, but what the hell is he going to do? Run into the stands?
Yeah.
You know? So I think you can forget that. It was a handball, no doubt about it, but the referee didn't see it. The linesman up there didn't see it, and the second linesman was too far away to see it himself. The theory that's knocking about is that the fourth official saw it on video and advised the referee that there was a handball during the play, and it shouldn't be given. Now that is wrong. As far as I'm aware, it's illegal. It's not even in the rules. The fourth official is there only to supervise the substitutions and make sure everybody behaves themselves on the benches. Other than that, nout.
Yeah.
It's the most Sunderland thing in the world. We've got a goal ruled off by VAR in a league that doesn't have VAR.
There's no VAR. I mean,
That's stupid, isn't it?
I can't get my head around. I mean, the last time I was on here, it was the Sheffield United away game where he didn't send the bloke off who flattened Patrick Roberts.
Yeah.
We got the penalty. He didn't send him off because we got the penalty. Similar situation on Burnley. I mean, the first penalty, if we'd had VAR, it wouldn't have been a penalty, and their centre off would have been sent off instead of getting a yellow card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, Dermot.
The way that the referees interpret these rules, if they were all consistent, I mean, and two people are going to be different to it, but a modicum of consistency within the refereeing of these games would be great. I thought we got rid of, I said this after the Sheffield United game, I thought we got rid of these numpties when we got promoted out of the first division. Unfortunately, we brought them with us and the bugs have got worse.
Yeah, and they've come up with us, haven't they? Because he was in League One as well, I think, a few years ago. Dermot, like after the match, I don't know if you saw, but Isidore went to the referee and he asked him. He said, like, why was it disallowed? And the referee says to him, like, you were offside. You came back from an offside position and you were interfering with play. That's what he said to Isidore after the match. You can see that, you can read his lips. So,
Yeah.
do you think he's using that as a smoke screen to cover his ass because he's been told on his microphone that it's a handball or whatever?
Well, Ian said the handball thing that is the most common theory, but I read today, and that we all get confused with whatever the new handball rule is. But if the ball's smacked off your hand and your hand's in a natural position, it's not handball, and the ball's just smacked off his hand at right like a metre away, and so it's not handball from Lefebvre. I didn't see the referee's explanation, but
He hasn't given one.
yeah, that's the most plausible thing, I think, because but he wasn't offside. He wasn't offside. So I don't know. I mean, it's water under the bridge now. Hopefully,
But I
it
think
doesn't. It's not important, but it could have been important last night.
the thing that's bothering me is I watched it when on SAFC, which you and I watched, Lee. I don't know what you watched last night, Dermot.
I was the same. It was comical
I
on
said,
there.
okay. Well, when they were showing it after the game, they showed the referee give the goal. The lino over the other side has got his flag down by his arm. He's not saying no, he's not raising his flag. All walking back to the centre circle, and then all of a sudden the referee goes to his lug where his microphone is. He's getting a message from elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I think that okay, it could be a conspiracy theory. Who saw John F. K? Why didn't the goal get given? You know, similar sort of thing. I suspect the fourth official has had a word in the referee's look, and that's wrong. And
Yeah.
I would love Sunderland to make a complaint, but Sunderland don't complain. Remember the FA Cup game at Tranmere, when
Yeah.
Tranmere put a substitute on when their lad got sent off?
I was there. I was there. It was
Hello.
comical. Yeah.
And we didn't complain about that, for goodness sake. We went out of the cup. We could have got a replay. You know?
I remember
We
that.
we did get the beach ball though off
Oh
Darren
yeah,
Bent.
okay. Well, yeah, you could argue that that's.
But it was one of them kind of incidents. And the funny thing on SAFC.com was Danny Collins was saying it was 2-0, and they played about 2 or 3 minutes at 2-0. The score.
It was still showed 2-0 on the score.
I was checking the BBC because I wasn't convinced, and I was like texting me mate saying we're winning 2-0 on SAFC.com, and it was 1-0 everywhere else. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Dermot, then moving on, because I think we've talked about that enough.
I can't talk about silliness like
Wilson, he missed 2 penalties on Friday night. He came back last night. He had a good chance the second half, didn't he? When he did one of those like long runs from his own half, and I don't know if he should have passed or if he was right to go for it himself. But how do you think he bounced back after the setback on Friday?
I think everyone's enjoying watching him play. He's a great player. I don't think he's an out and out centre forward, and I think we could help him out a little bit if looks like they're gonna get someone in. Hopefully somebody who can come off the bench and give us something a bit different. But he's a great player. That run he did was exactly the same as what he did at Hull. But he can get from our box to the edge of their box in about 4 or 5 touches, and he's fast. He's like shit off a stick, I think is the phrase or something like that, isn't it? He's very fast.
That's the technical phrase, yes, right.
Technical phrase for pace. He's got a lot of pace. And he had a great shot in the first half that the keeper parried out, and we nearly got a goal as well. So, I wasn't worried from Friday night. He missed 2 penalties, but he's a good player. He looks to be enjoying himself. I'd just like to see him score a few tap-ins because all his goals are amazing, aren't they?
Right, that's what it seems like, yeah.
He doesn't score tap-ins. He can't.
Nah.
Well,
he's French, isn't he? He's got a little bit of ooh la la and voila.
There is a bit of Thierry on them, definitely.
Yeah.
Look at the goal that was disallowed last night. That wasn't a tap-in. That was hammering the bastard from the edge of the box and off the bar. That's not a tap-in.
No, he's a good player. I think he's a good player, and we've got to find if we can just add one more attacking kind of option in there, because it looks like Rusin and Connolly's gone, so there's got to be somebody coming in.
And talking about outgoings, before you continue there, mate, it seems that Aushish has been told he can leave as well. Now it's interesting because on Friday night after the match against Burnley, I put a post on social media saying that I thought he was unlucky to get dropped, and I think he's been like one of the best players in the last 3 or 4 games that he's played. And shortly after that, I received like a direct message request on Twitter, on X. And it was from like a French speaking account. It was like 90% in French. But the person wrote to me, I'm not going to say who it was, but they said, "Thanks for your support for Adil, but he will leave on loan in January. Keep it for you, please. Lebris thanks him for what he gave last game, but he doesn't count on him and let him go." So it's a bit like broken English, but it seems that Aushish has been told that, thanks, but like it's time to go.
You
I'm a bit.
got you got a scoop there, Lee.
I've got a what? A
You
slim.
got a bit of a scoop,
Yeah.
journalist scoop there.
Oh yeah,
If,
yeah,
that,
yeah,
if that's true,
yeah. And
I,
then
I, I personally would like to keep him because I think he'd be good off the bench. You know, I thought about the bench, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, Ian. I don't know if you agree with that. I mean, I like him. I think he's got something a bit different to the players in terms of creativity.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the season, or right up to Christmas, just about, it looked as though Chiefs had been frozen out by Lebrie. And I mentioned it myself as well on here that possibly there's been some bad blood between the two of them in the past, and that's why Lebrie's not been playing him. And then all of a sudden he started getting on, and he hasn't thrown his toys out the pram. He wants to play, as opposed to Bar. Abdullah Bar has just disappeared off the face of the planet. But Ochich is getting stuck in. He brings something. He scares defenders. He's not a natural goal scorer. Okay, he laid a goal on for Patrick Roberts. But other than that, I'm not sure if he's
The
got too many.
Alexic goal against Stoke in the FA Cup, he set that up.
Yeah, okay. The FA Cup game, I didn't see it all. I couldn't find it, so I didn't even look for it on a stream. I knew what was going to happen, so I didn't bother. But as I said before, we are overloaded in midfield, and O'Sheish is going to be fifth or sixth or possibly even seventh choice when Mundle and Tommy Watson come back. So it's probably better that he goes. I'm sorry that that he will go. I would love to have seen him come on last night, but that would have probably given us a bit of breathing space. Patrick Roberts did it to a certain extent, but Patrick Roberts isn't similar sort of winger to O'Sheish. O'Sheish is more direct. He'll get it to the corner. He'll hold onto the ball, and
He's got a bit of trickery. He's got a
he'll
bit of
waste
skill.
time. Patrick's trying to beat the world before he does anything.
Yeah. Right then, Dermot, moving on then. Transfer window is what? 10 days away from closing, I think. Apart from a striker, anywhere else we need to strengthen, you think?
Fullbacks.
Pull back, maybe a bit of cover. No, is it cover on the cover for Trey Hume, maybe?
Yeah.
Just in case, but you can't, if they've got rid of a couple of players, they might bring people in for cover. They might bring like one for one, as we say, Rooson and Connolly. If they both go, then we're definitely going to be bringing in a forward. But I think we've got, I think we've got a squad and we've got players coming back. And there's Samed come on last night. He played in the cup. He can help out. He's coming off the bench now. Helder's looked all right coming off the bench to shore things up in defence. So I'm not expecting much, but I'd love to see another forward option.
Yeah. Right. Well, hopefully. I mean, we've been linked with Brereton Diaz, Tom Cannon, the guy from Preston, a guy called Friggin,
From West yeah.
from the Belgian team.
That looks as though it might happen. I don't know. I mean, it depends. It's going to be a similar sort of deal as Lafay, apparently. If we go up, we'll pay 13, 15 million for him.
Yeah, but apparently his goal record's not the greatest. I mean, like, what was he, like 5 goals in 20 something games? I think that was what I read. But anyway, right, we've got about a minute left.
Against Leeds, that'll do for me.
Oh yeah, that'll do nicely. We've got a minute left then, so very quickly, lads, your predictions for Saturday, Plymouth at home. Dermot, what are you going for?
Right, so we've said we need to tear a team apart, so I'll say 3-0. There you go.
Optimist.
Ian, what are you thinking? They are.
Bottom of the league.
They're bottom of the league, and Burnley's just scored against them, so it's 1-0 Burnley. So currently Leeds and Burnley are winning, so we're back to fourth. Ian, what's your prediction?
I can't argue Dermot. I just said he's an optimist, but I think we will be. I think we will win 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I
hope Wilson gets at least one goal. As far as I'm concerned, he can get a hat-trick.
Yeah. Right, well, that's all we've got time for, lads. Thanks for your time this evening, and hopefully we can get another 3 points on Saturday and keep up the pressure. How are the lads?
How are the lads?
All right, lads. Cheers now.